we continue cutting the shirt. Now we're going to cut the sleeve. We're doing the long sleeve with the cuff at the end, okay? So you'll fold just like for your basic sleeve, half around the arm, plus 1.5 centimeters. Remember that is for your allowance, okay? So I've done that with this, so I'm going to continue now. Alright, so I'm at 25. We take off the seam allowance, that brings us to 23. And we go, the center of 23 is 11.5. That's the center of 23. Remember at that point, we go down 4. If your hand is above 36, around the arm is above 36. And we go down 15 once you're wider there, right? That's the head of the sleeve we're getting. So remember, we find the center of the sleeve. After you fold, take off your seam allowance, you'll find your center. Half of the around the arm. Right? And it's at that point we go down 4 and then we shape the head of the sleeve. Remember, when you come over about 1.5, you keep going under. So this fits on the underarm of your sleeve. Alright, so that's the head of the sleeve. 4 here, 15 there because this is wider. Okay? The length, the long sleeve length is 58, so we're going to take off from that 6 centimeters because we're going to be putting on the cuff, right? So we have 52 and we need the 2 seam allowances, which is 3, so we're going to go to 55 centimeters. You're going to be sewing here, plus you're going to be sewing on the cuff. So you need 2 seam allowances for that. The seam allowance is where you sew the amount leave to sew the garment together. Right, now we're going to put a pleat on the cuff here. So you're marking the pleat and you measure for your wrist. So your clear wrist measurement, half minus 13, so I come here. Alright. So we're using the wrist measurement at this point. And remember, we take off the cuff allowance. Alright, so we're going to cut the sleeve out. Mark your center as usual. And we need 2 sleeves, so I'm going to cut the second sleeve. You have to make sure that your material is folded properly. Okay. I'm making sure my rectangle is straight so my sleeve will not be twisted. Make sure the fold is to the fold accurately. The sleeve is lying down flat. Pin the ends so they won't move when you're cutting, okay? Now we're going to cut the second sleeve. Now we need to cut the front of the sleeve. So we have both sleeves. We need to cut the front of the sleeve and the slit for the continuous wrap where the cuff is going to go. So to do that, you have to open your sleeve and you put them right sides touching. So we normally cut on the wrong side of the garment because we sew on the wrong side, right? So you put it on top like that, right sides touching. Line up properly. Okay. So since we had used one sleeve to cut the other one, that means that the front was not lowered as yet, so we're going to have to lower the front of the sleeve. Alright, and that's 1 centimeter at this point. Okay, so at this point here, we'll come down to 1, right? We have that quarter line, and you're going to shape down from this top at the center. Take the 1 there and you taper it there. So the front of your sleeve now will be over that side, and it's best to mark so you don't get into any trouble. You can mark that over here is the front and over here is the back, alright? We're going to cut off. Alright, so here we start. Leave your seam allowance at the end and taper this. Remember not to take any from the center. So when we put the sleeve this way now, you notice that the front is lower than the back. Look at it. There we have it. You see the front of your sleeve is lower than the back of the sleeve. There you have it, okay? Now, for us to put in the slit for the continuous wrap and for your cuff, what we do, we find the center of the mouth of the sleeve. Okay, so make sure I come across. So you can look for me. We take off the seam allowance, which is your 1.5 here. And from here to here is 16. So we're going to mark it at 8. I like to use for the slit 6 centimeters. That can vary. So this is the back of your sleeve, so you have to cut the slit on the 2 of them. Alright, so there the back of the sleeve is cut now with the opening for your continuous wrap. Remember, you need to cut both of them at the same time with the right sides touching. So you will have 1 left sleeve and 1 right sleeve. You will not be mixing the sleeves up. Alright, so that's for the main part of the sleeve. Now we're going to cut the cuff. And I like to use 16 centimeters for the cuff. So we need 2 cuffs. So we're going to fold like this, so we cut both at the same time, right? I tend to put the cuff on the cross grain as well. So we come here. Okay, good, 16. And we fold it again. So we are cutting both at the same time. Now my around the arm is, my wrist is 23. So I'm going to have the continuous wrap, which is going to be 3 centimeters. And I'm going to have 2 seam allowances, which is going to be 2 and 2, 4. Okay? So we have the seam allowance to finish the cuff, and we have the measurement of the wrist, which is here. And we have the continuous wrap. When we finish the continuous wrap here, we'll have to add that 2 on the cuff, okay? So you add all of those together. And let me see if I'm at 23, that's the seam allowance, that's the continuous wrap, good. So I'm gonna cut mine at 28 centimeters. Okay. Remember I told you I'm cutting the 2 cups at the same time, right? Okay, so I have, that's 1 cuff, and that's 2 cups. Okay. Alright, so that's going to fit down here on the shirt. So that's the cuff, that's the part that is called the cuff. So it's going to be added down here. After you sew the sleeve and prepare your cuff, it will come to the hem of the sleeve like that. Now for the continuous wrap, it goes 2 times here. Alright, so this was 6, so we have to cut it 2 times 6 will be 12. I normally give it 1 more for ease. So I'm going to cut it 12 by 5. 5 centimeters and 12. So here we have it. 5 centimeters this way. Alright, I don't want it too wide. And 13 this way. That gives us the continuous wrap. So we are doing it on 2 sleeves, so we need 2 of them, right? 2 sleeves, 2 pieces for the continuous wrap. So here we have completed the cutting of the shirt sleeve. Thanks for watching. I'm going to do next the cutting of the collar.